Well, good evening, and welcome to our 35th annual Alumni Banquet. We are here tonight to honor the 50-year class, the class of 1966. And would members of this class please stand and be recognized? I will now ask Robert West, member of the class of 1956, to come and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can I do it from here?
No.
That wasn't in the contract.
It's loud enough. Somebody do it.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now Emily Blackstein, lay preacher for the Chazy Presbyterian Church, will now do the invocation.
Let us pray. Loving God, you are the creator of all, sustainer of our life, and giver of every good gift. Look upon the graduates of CCRS as they joyfully assemble once again to remember times past and renew friendships. May we take little notice, O God, of how much others have advanced in age, while by your grace each of us has only grown in experience. We give thanks for CCRS and the gifts she engraved on the hearts and minds of all who attended there, and for the teachers, coaches, and staff who taught and encouraged them, who even at times disciplined them. May we always remember with gratitude their part in making the alumni who they are today. Let us honor them by keeping our hearts open and young, even as our minds and bodies age. We remember classmates who couldn't travel here tonight, and those who have died and now reside in your heavenly kingdom. Take them in your loving embrace. We offer our heartfelt thanks for those who have worked so creatively to make this reunion a reality, and give us a taste of years past by helping us recall pleasant memories and special friendships. This evening, as we enjoy the banquet, let us remember with compassion those who at this very moment are hungry and lonely, without food, without friends, without home. Touch our hearts to share ourselves and our resources to bring justice and peace to all people. Continue to sit with us at table this evening. Bless the food and the drink, the conversation and the laughter. Let us be gifts for one another. Amen.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will now eat, and the way we're going to do this is we will start with the class of 1966. You will begin, and we will go back to the very last table on this side, and then we'll go over to the right and start with the table in the back, and we will come down. Excuse me. Once the class of 1966 goes, we are going to have our 70-plus class members come up and eat, okay? So it's going to be the 1966 class and the 70-plus class members, and then we'll resume with the tables back here. We'll go over to this side and come down.
How are you?
And so we can begin.
Tell me when you
Enjoy. We would like to thank you for the marvelous meal. Caroline is from the class of 1987. Thank you. I'd like to mention that if anybody would like a copy of this evening's program, Calvin Castine is here taping the event. And if you would like to see him, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to provide you with a copy of it. I'd also like to mention that in our program, it says that the music was being provided by Jeff and Reedy Green. Joe Braun had to step in for Jeff and Reedy, so your music is being provided by Joe Braun tonight. And a gentle reminder, this year we sent out 1,600 newsletters. Out of that, 150 of them came back because we had wrong addresses. Of course, it's more for the younger alumni, but if mom and dad or aunt and uncle or anybody, if you know of an address change, and if you can let us know, we would greatly appreciate it. That was an extreme amount for us to have coming back. So if you can help us in that area, we greatly appreciate it. At this time, I would like to introduce the alumni officers. Our president, Ann Baker Carey, class of 1957. Ann, would you stand, please? Our vice president is Jane Fulton Hess from the class of 1953, and Jane was unable to join us. Our secretary, Krista Dupre Ringer, class of 1998. Our treasurer, Margaret Ryan, class of 1979, and Maggie was unable to join us. And our board of directors, Richard West, class of 1954. Rhonda Trombley O'Hagan, class of 1977, was unable to join us. Nancy Powers Vesco, class of 1977. And Karen Deal Pepper, class of 1985, who also was unable to join us. We have some very distinguished guests, as we do every year, and we're very honored to have them. From the 70-plus class. Graduating 74 years ago from the class of 1942, Rita Cody Bayshard. Graduating 72 years ago from the class of 1944, Edward Dragoon. And graduating 71 years ago from the class of 1945, who, by the way, on July 5th, will be 90 years old, Rita Trombley Passat. And from there, we will go to the introduction of our classes. All members who graduated between the years of 1944 and 1950. Could you rise or raise your hand? Those graduating between 1951 and 1955. 1956 to 1960. 1961 to 1965. 1966 to 1970. That's you. 1971 to 1975. 1976 to 1980. 1981 to 1985. 1986 to 1990. 1991 to 1995.
There's a hole in the boat.
That's okay, it's going to get better. Just be patient. 1996 to 2000. 2001 to 2005. 2006 to 2010. 2011 to 2015. And anyone in the class of 2016. I told you it was going to get better. At this time, I like to take a little stroll down memory lane for the class of 1966. I had to dig around and get a little bit of information, do some research. And I just like to throw out some facts and information to you. So this is for 1966. The cost of a new home, $23,300. The cost of a first-class stamp, 5 cents. I remember that. A cost of a gallon of regular gasoline, 32 cents. Cost of a dozen eggs, 60 cents. But you know what? I think it was Hannaford who this week had it for only 69 cents. So I'll go that. Cost of a gallon of milk, 99 cents. Life expectancy, 70.2 years. Federal spending, $134.5 billion. The federal debt, $328.5 billion. Inflation, 2.7%. Unemployment was 4.5%. For me, the first thing that came to mind was the Vietnam War, 1960s. Famous sayings. And guess who this was? And I'm sure you know. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. It was, yeah. This one I really liked. Being president is like being a jackass in a hailstorm. There's nothing to do but to stand there and take it. Lyndon B. Johnson. Dad, I'm in some trouble. There's been an accident, and you're going to hear all sorts of things about me from now on. Terrible things.
Eddie Kennedy.
Eddie Kennedy. Edward Kennedy. If one morning I walked on top of the water across the Potomac River, the headline that afternoon would read, President Can't Swim. Lyndon B. Johnson. Famous people. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Muhammad Ali. Some people tap their feet, some people snap their fingers, and some people sway back and forth. I just sort of do them all together, I guess. Elvis Presley. And who could forget Martin Luther King and his fight for freedom when he said, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And another saying that I found pretty interesting. It was a wonderful time to be young. The 1960s didn't end until about 1976. We all believed in make love, not war. We were idealistic innocents, despite the drugs and sex. Margot Kidder. And then there's George Richard Shaw's thought on drinking that probably says it best and sums it up well for the 1960s and what to do. And his theory on drinking was this. When we drink, we get drunk. When we get drunk, we fall asleep. When we fall asleep, we commit no sin. When we commit no sin, we go to heaven. So let's all get drunk and go to heaven. Pretty wise words, huh? But that's the end of the stroll down memory lane, except for one more thing. Let's see. There's another memory of a member of the class of 1966 that some of us would like clarification as to what really is the truth. So hopefully we're going to get that cleared up right now. So Kevin, would you mind sharing with us your memory of the king?
Well, I think 51 years I've been waiting to ask this question because now I know I can't get him in trouble. I remember a play called Tom Thumb the Great. One of the members sitting here in the class of 66 was the king in that play. And I remember when he showed up for the performance that night, he was typically in, and we had already done this play for the kids a number of times and a number of dress rehearsals, but his performance that night was a little more beyond compare. And I kept looking at him because I was in the play and I was on stage, and I'm saying to myself, what is going on with the king? And I finally rationalized to myself that there may have been a little pre-play activity, let's say. So Skip, I'll put you on the spot. Have you had a little bit of liquid?
Not tonight.
David Martin, not here. You can't get me in trouble.
Not tonight.
That's been a question for 51 years on my mind.
But greatest performance I ever put on.
But believe me, it was the greatest performance I ever saw Skip do. Well, I know that he had some liquid and reinforcement. At least I thought he did. But I was never wanting to ask, so I would get him into trouble.
Ask Marilee Chapman. She'll tell
Marilee, I'm going to sit down. I think you should stand up now.
Marilee and I went to the talk last night with a few others, and she told me more things about me than I ever knew about myself.
So, Marilyn,
I just want to say, it was so good that night, we were asked to actually go up to Norwich to put on that performance.
St. Lawrence University.
St. Lawrence University, that's how good it was that. And I remember, I can picture this in my mind just as clean today as it was back then. Skip sitting in this throne. You had to, if you didn't see the play, it was wonderful. First of all, we had a giantess that was a queen. She sat on a step ladder. Super Stesky, right?
No. Cheryl Bedard. Sherry Bedard.
Oh, well, you see?
Cindy Bedard.
Well, anyway, and the dress was hid the step ladder like this, and it was on wheels, and somebody was inside doing this. And Tom Thumb was an invisible character, and you could only hear his voice on a microphone from someone behind the stage. And Tom Thumb wasn't it Trent Trahan?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
It was Trent Trahan. But so you can imagine everybody is playing to this invisible character that nobody could see and stuff like this. But I remember Skip sitting on the throne, and I don't think he had shoes on, but I can picture this. And he's sitting there, and the throne was a little bit high for him, and his feet are like this, and they're swinging back and forth like this in the middle of the play. And I remember Brian, Cody, and I were out in front stage, and I'm looking back, and I see these feet swinging like this, and I had so much trouble staying in character, because I knew that he had a little encouragement. But it was one of the funniest things I remember. I waited 51 years to ask the question.
Well, now that that mystery has been solved, at this time, I would like to invite King Ralph Skip Trombley to come and introduce his classmates and present them with their 50-year pin.
You're up on the stage. He forgot their names.
I don't know, I hope I don't miss anyone.
Yeah, so these are my notes. Just bring your own notes.
I was just told that I just had to say through the meeting. Would you like one? Okay, there's only 5 or 6 of us here tonight. Unfortunately, I'm sorry you didn't all make it. Can you hear me? No. Okay. First one we're going to call is Stephanie Akey. Just take this and go stand over there and go Julie Marie. Mike Warren. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's bring all the girls up. What's that girl back there? Oh, Marilee Chapman. Marilee Chapman. Go say something. All of them. Enough, that's it. Okay. Mike Warren. And last but not least, Mark.
Marilee, could you come here for a minute, please? I just hate it when somebody tries to make sure that the little secrets don't come out. So, here you go, Marilee.
I have a dear memory of Skip. When class of 66 was unable to go on the trip to New York City for the class trip, we had to go to Ottawa for one day. And that left us with a lot of money in our treasury, which we had been raising for a big class trip. Mr. Martin asked us all what we should do with the money, Mr. Martin, and we decided as a class that we would donate books to the library. And this is my favorite part.
I understand already.
So everybody had to choose a book that wasn't in the library and give a report on it. And then we would vote on which books would go to the library. Skip gave the most remarkable, book report, and we all voted on it. Everybody in the class, it was unanimous. His book report was the best. We all wanted to read the book. When Mr. Martin went to look for the book, he found that it was non-existent.
Thumbs up to you, guys.
So creative. And he was able to give us this wonderful book report. It's a wonderful memory. We all hold it. Thank you all. Thank you all to the Alumni Association for everything. This is lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Lee, for sharing that with us.
Yes, thank you, Mary Lee.
We're learning that he has a lot of really good traits. Wow, amazing. Wow. Pretty good. At this time, I'd like to invite Krista Dupre Ringer from the class of 1998, who will now announce the awards. Actually, I would like Kevin LaPierre come up because we're going to do the Alumni Service Award first.
Spent 38 years in the classroom when I need a microphone. I was asked to speak a few words about the person that's going to get this service award, and I'm sure a lot of you knew him because he was probably a very big, not probably, he was a big presence in the school for a number of years, probably because he was a little bit different than most of us. But in fact, he really wasn't a lot different from most of us. I had the pleasure and the enlightening experience of living with this fellow in my junior year when I was in college. He was looking for a roommate, and although he was 2 years older than I was, he was in graduate school at Plattsburgh State, and asked me if I would live with him. So I did, and believe me, it was quite an experience. But the thing that I learned most about Joe from living with him was, and I have to tell you his name because you'll know who it is even if I don't tell you his name. His name is Joseph Laramie. And if you remember Joe, he was legally blind, but he could see a good-looking girl from 40. I remember we were sitting in the living room of our apartment, and I'm trying to think of that. I think the doctor's name was Dr. Fee. He was a dentist. We had the apartment over his offices next to McDonough Hall. And I heard this knock on the door, and Joe said, that's going to be this girl. She's going to be one of my readers. I think I have to listen to her voice. So Joe goes over and he opens up the door, and this absolutely, of course, I'm a junior in college at this time. And this absolutely gorgeous girl is standing there. And she says, "Hi, I'm Nyetta McMorrow." That's how good looking she was. I still remember her name. She says, "I'm Nyetta," she was also in my class, so we were both psychology majors. She says, "I'm Nyetta McMorrow, and I'm here for the job of reader." So Joe takes her hand and leads her in and sits her down on the sofa and hands her this book, and he sits down and he's sitting there with those Coke bottle glasses that he used to wear, and he used to sit here like this, and I didn't know how he could pay attention to what was going on, but she sits there and she starts reading for him. And what an enjoyable reader she was. I could see her, but she sounded good too. But we used to always talk about how Joe, every reader he had was a girl to start with. And every one of them was good looking. But he used to get, I don't know how he got back and forth to school and stuff, but he taught me a lot of things when I lived with him. And one of the things I still do today is, how many people in here, I don't want to say that, how many men in here need a mirror to shave with? Do you shower? Do you shave in the shower? Because to this day, I still shave in the shower. Because Joe said to me, everybody shaves by feel. You don't shave by how you look, or in a mirror. You don't really need a mirror. So he taught me that. He taught me how to fill up a coffee cup by poking your finger over the lip like this, and when you burn your finger, you stop. He taught me all these things that I never thought that somebody who I thought of being as handicapped, none of him was handicapped at all. I do know that he went on into his master's program was in counseling, and he was very involved in a program called Upward Bound, that I'm sure some of you are familiar with. Spent a lot of years in that. And I know later in his life he became a counselor for the Association of the Blind in Albany, and I still believe that he lives in Albany, although I haven't talked to him. And when Kathy talked to me about doing this or whatever, I said, if he's here, as we thought that he was going to be, please don't tell him my name, because I know he will recognize my voice, because that's how good of a listener he was. So just some interesting anecdotes about life as it goes by and stuff. But anyway, this award is for the Alumni Service Award, and is presented to Joe Laramie, class of '66, by the Chazy Central Rural School Alumni Board of Directors in recognition of outstanding services performed for the association and the community, June 25, 2016.
I probably don't need a microphone really either. Okay, before I get to the award that I have the honor of presenting tonight, I would just like to announce, as of last night at graduation for the class of 2016, $415,450 were awarded total in scholarships. And the Alumni Association scholarships were awarded to Brianna Lewis. Her parents are Crystal Dozer, class of '88, and Tony Lewis, class of '88, and Hannah McAuley, and her mother is Kelly McDonald, class of 1988. Okay. Now on to the good stuff. I have the honor to present the 2016 Alumni of the Year Award. From this point, we'll refer to it as the Year of the Woman. This woman's resume is beyond impressive, and at the top of the list of accomplishments is wife, mother, and CCRS class of 1987 graduate. After high school graduation, our honored guest went on to attend Plattsburgh State University and took an internship in Washington, D.C. under the encouragement of a professor, and this was just the beginning of her adventures in Washington. She thrived on the energy of our country's capital and was determined to make her mark, which she certainly has done. Our Alumnus of the Year has established an incredibly successful Democratic fundraising and political consulting firm. She has organized an extensive amount of events for the Democratic Party. One in particular that can be noted was for President Obama after he was officially elected, but before he took office. The event was planned for an anticipated 10,000 people. However, the numbers grew to roughly 20,000. Our honored guest was sought out and escorted by Secret Service to a vehicle, and when the door was opened, the newly elected president was sitting in the vehicle and asked her, and I'm paraphrasing right now, "So what happened here? How did we grow this thing to 20,000? Another notable encounter was at an event for President Bill Clinton. When she was shaking the president's hand, he asked her how her mother and Chazy was doing. That's just another day in the office, right? These are just two of the many stories and experiences that our alumnus has had, yet through it all, she has never forgotten home. She has always stayed true to the small town in upstate New York where it all started. She stays in contact with people that share the same beginnings as her, a CCRS graduate. She offers support to new graduates and college students that are interested in finding out about careers in politics, answering questions, and sharing experiences. Most recently, she has set up the Chazy Central Rural School Foundation. This foundation exists because of her. It exists because of the countless hours she spent and funding she provided to make it happen. The foundation is a fund in which businesses, alumni, current and past community members across the country can contribute to. All of the money donated to the foundation goes to the Chazy Central Rural School to directly help the school fund projects, technology improvements, and other various needs. These funds will give current students and teachers the opportunities to provide educational and school experiences that might not otherwise be possible. Success is the result of hard work, dedication, and passion for what one does. Our Alumnus of the Year embodies all of these qualities. She has accomplished so much and has continued to give so much back to her home, the small town of Chazy that she calls home. Please join me in congratulating our inspirational 2016 Alumni of the Year, Ms. Lori LaFave.
Really good. I went to graduation last night. I haven't been to graduation since my baby sister graduated. And I sat in the back, and when the kids were coming up, they were coming down the road. I was saying to Jan Davis, and I grabbed her hand because I thought I was going to cry because it meant so much to me to be there. I want to share a story with you. Kathy had said, will you say a few words about the Education Foundation, which has taken almost a year for us to get together. But it's finally ready to go, and we will be taking our first grant request this fall, and we'll be able to award grants this fall. One of my huge kind of big ideas is to provide every child in Chazy with their own laptop computer. These are the things that I want to do for our school. And here's the reason why. When I took this internship to Washington, I was given an internship in a very senior member of Congress office, a woman member. And the first day of the internship, we all had to walk into the office and sit down and tell the member of Congress who we were, where we're from, and what is our goal. So I'm sitting in the office, there's 10 of us there, and I happen to be the last one to go. All of these people who are my age, who are seniors in college, are telling me who they are. They went to Harvard, they were at Brown, they just come back from, Spain, wherever. And then it got to me. I was nervous, I was completely out of my league, and I had no idea what to say. And I said this, hi, my name is Lori LaFave, I'm from Chazy, New York. My high school graduating class is 39 people. This is the furthest south I have ever been, and I saw the ocean for the first time last weekend because the person I live with decided I needed to see the ocean. And my goal is not to embarrass my family or let the town down. At that moment, everybody in the room kind of stopped and looked at me like, is she for real? And then the questions came. Where's Chazy? So I told them. How big is it? I told them. was the school a public school or is it a private school? Or I told them. And at that moment, I was different in a good way. And I thought often, why, for my first big moment in politics, this was my chance, why did I say that? And here's why. I had you all with me. I had that school with me. I take it with me every day. Politics is a horrible and wonderful business all at the same time. And I hope that I bring a little bit of Chazy with me before I go. So,
Thank you, Lori. So, as many of you may know, CCRS opened its doors November 14th, 1916. And on Saturday, October 22nd of this year, we will be celebrating 100 years of educational excellence. Alumni, past faculty, staff members, community members, and special guests will be in attendance to join in the celebration. There will be artifacts from the old and new school, photos, and historical exhibits from each decade CCRS has been in existence. Please plan to join us. Please plan to join past and present members of the CCRS family as we honor the existence of one of William H. Minor's most treasured gifts. I'd like to point out to you that there is information about the celebration on the back table if you would like to take a pamphlet. And at this time, you can also order a t-shirt if you would like to do so. Also, the pictures that you see behind Mr. West, these pictures have been donated by Kevin McKeer, and they're going to be raffled off at the celebration. If you would like a raffle ticket, we have those available also for you. So, having said all that, as you can see, our alumni is always finding ways of supporting our very unique and special school. There's so many who go above and beyond who wish to remain in the background. No one supports CCRS because they're seeking recognition. They do it because they love their alma mater. We, the alumni, only get better because we have a strong support system. We're thankful for our officers, and especially for their family and friends who join us to assist us and work so hard to make the tea and banquet something special for all who attend. We're thankful for all who assist us with the newsletter, flowers, cookies, hosting the tea and banquet, serving as bartender year after year, collecting the money, setting up tables and chairs, making name tags, greeting our guests, providing music, making a fantastic meal for us to enjoy, providing wine, and the list could go on and on. And we know we can always count on the same people to be there. But just keep in mind that there's always room for new members. There's always room for new people to come and assist us. And you will be welcome to join us and have some fun as we prepare for the Alumni Tea and Banquet every year. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. West up to the podium, and we are going to do God Bless America and something else.
We were going to do something else, but as every year we end our program with God Bless America. And what we always sing is the chorus, but there's a verse before it. Where storm clouds gather or across the sea. Let us pledge allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you. Boy, will Elsie be proud tonight.
Something I forgot to do was to invite Stephen Hadnell to the podium to share some very exciting information. I apologize, Steve, but you can share it with us now.
This will be quick. I'm one of the undocumented aliens in the room tonight. I did not graduate from Chazy. I apologize. Confusing. But I am local. I graduated from NCCS in 1972. In some ways, I apologize for that as well, but that's another story. It's an honor to work at this school. And I feel very lucky that I've been allowed to be included in so many things that take place at the school. I'm the current high school librarian. I replace a wonderful person who's sitting right in front of me right here, Emily Castine. Did a tremendous job all of her years. I'm trying to match the number of years that she worked. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there, Emily. The reason I'm here to talk to you a little bit tonight is this is the current yearbook for this year, and we're working on, right now, on the 100th anniversary book for next year. Well, first of all, this was obviously for the purple class. I was just sort of curious, how many people here were a purple class in there? Very good, very good. Okay. Well, we represented you as purple as we could this year on this book. This is the most purple book I think they ever produced at the school. What I'm looking for, we're working on the book for next year, as I said, and there are some things that only you folks can provide for us. I'm happy to report I'm not going to ask you for money. I need something much more valuable from you, and that is what you can tell me and possibly provide me in terms of historical information and possibly images, okay? We're putting together the book with a few extra pages of Chazy School history. And one of the things, I'm looking for anything that you're willing to share with us. Primarily what I'm looking for, which seems to be the most rare thing, is color photographs of the old school, either indoors and or outdoors. I know that we were right on that edge of people starting to buy color cameras back then, and a lot of times those images, because the color film wasn't of the highest quality, faded, they didn't last that long. But if you have or know of anyone that has in any quality color images of the old school, we would be so grateful to you if we could photograph them, scan them. We wouldn't take them from you, because I know people are very protective of the things they have from the school. I'd be willing to go to you and scan them or photograph them so that you don't even have to have them leave your home. I get that. I know how that feels to have something that valuable. if you have any information as well about any artifacts, anything that was in the school, I would love to be able to photograph any of that as well. Anyone that provides us with any leads for that type of thing, or has something we can photograph, we'll put credits in the book of a list of people who helped us in some way to have access to that material. We just think it'll make a much more interesting book, section of that book, if we can represent the school in ways that we haven't necessarily seen before in the yearbook, okay? It would be extra exciting if there's anything you have that is, or that you're aware of where it is, that was pictured in the 1921 book, so that we can do a where is it now type of a thing. We don't have to say where it is if you prefer to keep that private, but if we could photograph it just so that we can put here's where it was in the 1921 yearbook, here it is today, okay, that type of thing. We're just looking to make the book, to make that 100-year connection between back then and now. Obviously, you guys, you folks also have, as we heard tonight, a million entertaining stories, okay, that we can use not just for the yearbook, but for the celebration in general. You know, things that we can compile and just put together in a brochure or a pamphlet or you know, even a small booklet, okay, stories that you'd like to share. Okay, I'll wrap this up, but anything you can help us with, you can contact Nancy Vesco at the main office at the school, okay? The number's in the book, but most of you know what that number is anyway, 846-7135, extension 505. Ask me again before I leave if you want that, take that number down. But we would, I'm fascinated by this school, as Mr. West knows, and a lot of the people that have allowed me to sit with them and talk to them for hours sometimes about what the school was about. Just on a personal level, and not even being from the school, I would love to know more about it and see some of the things that used to be in that school. So anything you could provide for us would be so appreciated and so welcome. Once again, the main thing I'm looking for right now for the book is color pictures of the old school. That seems to be the rarest thing out there, okay? I thank you very much for your time and for any help you can give us. Thanks a lot and congratulations to the 50th anniversary class.
I'd also like to mention that Steve does our newsletter for us, so that's really a big help to us, and he does a great job with it. We really appreciate all he does for us. So at this time, this concludes our annual alumni banquet. Thank you for coming, and certainly hope to see everybody here again next year. Have a great evening. Thank you.